Hello, everyone. I'm Marty Jones, and it's my good pleasure to be the moderator for today's Q&A for this wonderful, insightful, and just beautifully poetic film, Pigeon Kings. I wish we were there in Ashland at the Varsity Theater or at the Armory. I wish that our guests were there if they've never been. The Ashland Independent Film Festival is one of my favorites, and it's been my great pleasure to be a juror these past few years. You're in for a wonderful Q&A with a great group of people who spent a lot of time making an absolutely wonderful film about a sport that many of you may not have known about. So with us today is the director of Pigeon Kings, Milena Pastrich, and two of the stars, two of the real people who are legends in this sport and great men in Los Angeles, Keith London and Darren Hogg. Darren is also known as Choo Choo, and you know that now because you've seen the film. Welcome to the Ashland Independent Film Festival, virtual film festival Q&A. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good today.
Great.
So, Milena, you know, as with all films, they start with a moment of inspiration. Your moment of inspiration was doing, I think, some location scouting on another film, looking for a prop or some kind of set dressing, and you discovered tumbling birds in the skies of Los Angeles. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to know these great gentlemen?
Yeah. So I was making a short film at the time and I was location scouting. This is in 2011, which is insane to say.
Wow.
So in 2011 was location scouting for pigeon coops for a short film that I was making. The girl in the film had pigeons. So I was looking for a coop. And I went to somebody's backyard, looked at their coop, and they had roller pigeons, which was, you know, I looked up in the sky and these birds were doing somersaults, downward somersaults. In the film, most of the footage is slow motion of the birds, but in real life, you see it's very fast that the birds are tumbling. And I just started asking him questions, and he invited me to a lawn show, pigeon lawn show, a Birmingham roller pigeon lawn show. And I was just like, what on earth is a lawn show? And what is a Birmingham roller pigeon lawn show? And it was like, there's a scene in the film similar to it. It was a pigeon auction. And that pigeon auction, there were just hundreds of guys wearing pigeon t-shirts. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. They all have these somersaulting pigeons. And Keith was in that backyard on that day. And he just straight up asked me what I was doing there. He was like, you kind of stick out. Why are you here in this backyard? And I just immediately said, I'm making a documentary. And he said, that's cool. Where's your camera? You creepy person. Yeah. And I met Choo about a year later. Yeah. And immediately knew that Choo would be a great character for the film as well.
Yeah, character.
a real life character. Well, Keith, a lawn show. How often do they happen, and what are your memories of meeting Milena?
First of all, meeting Milena was like, I'm there, she's back there. And at the time, I think you were talking to Jim Jenner, because he was there. You were talking to him, and I seen him before. I just have never met him. He had a camera, and she did. I'm like, what they doing? You know, we just went through that little ordeal with the government, so everybody was everybody was kind of skeptical.
Right.
So I just asked her like that. No, Terry Duncan brought her over to me.
Okay.
And introduced me then. We were cool from then.
And how long was it before, from that lawn show to the first camera showing up?
I can't even remember. I can't remember the distance. But I remember when she first came to my house though, but I don't remember how long it took after the recording. Um, let's see, it had to be a couple of weeks at least. At least a couple of weeks.
It was pretty quick. It was a couple of weeks later that I just immediately. But in retrospect, all of that first, like for the first couple of years, rather than, you can't really get online and start researching what's going on. You just need to hang out.
Yeah.
So those first couple of years was really, none of that footage is really in the film research, and we're just hanging out, and I brought cameras and was just getting informed, like what is going on.
And Keith, what was it like? I mean, Darren, what was it like for you when you heard about this coming movie?
Well, honestly, man, I really wanted to be in the movie because before the movie came out, I thought about doing something about the birds because I seen that it was so wide open.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Is your door open to the shop there?
Oh, no, I'm not open to the public. I just came here.
No. I just heard some noise in the background. I wasn't sure.
No. The gardener's outside.
What's outside?
The gardeners.
Oh, okay.
Next door.
Okay, got it. That's okay.
That's why you didn't know.
We'll make it work. Southern California.
Yeah.
The thing about this movie for me, I lived in Los Angeles for 11 years, and I've spent the last 20 some years commuting in and out of Los Angeles, and I know the area. I think I've seen the birds. It's ironic that Richard asked me to moderate because I have a confession. I'm scared of pigeons. I was attacked outside of a department store in Chicago when I was 9 years old. I took this trip to Chicago with my family, and you walk out of the store and it's like all these birds, and they take off, and one was letting some releases happen, and it came toward me, and I was like, ah! So when I saw Pigeon Kings, I was like, huh? And then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh man, there's some kind of cosmic connection here that I'm the guy who's afraid of pigeons is being asked to moderate. But the movie completely changed my opinion of pigeons. I mean, forgive me in advance, but a friend of mine just sent me some pictures, everybody's doing FaceTime with their friends, right? Because we're on lockdown. And he sent me some videos of pigeons out in front of the grocery store where he lives, knowing that it would upset me. So I can't wait to get them to buy tickets to see your movie. But enough about me. The thing I loved about the movie is the gentle spirit and the culture that was captured, the true bonds of friendship and this total love of the sport and of other people who love the sport. How long did it take to begin to see that, or was that just evident from the very beginning?
As far as the film is concerned, or life in general?
Well, for the film specifically, and then I had some life in general questions a little bit later. Melanie, how evident was that to you that there was this really strong bond in community?
Immediately. I mean, immediately when I walked in that backyard, they're just all so tight. And then when they go, when I went to one of the first flies I went to, they all get up at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. It's really early that they're flying their birds because they want to beat the heat. And so they're just all like caravanning around the city together. Nobody has, they just know everybody's address by heart, driving from house to house. And then they hang out. It takes a couple hours to do that. Then they hang out for the rest of the day. There's all these clubs. You guys hang out all the time. I mean, now they do. You can witness it on Facebook Live. They're just
okay,
just like talking birds all day long, hanging out all the time. I mean, the bond is evident immediately. And the love of the birds is, you know, first you see like this bond and there's a sport and they're all in it together, camaraderie, and then the love of the birds becomes quite evident once you start talking to them. I mean, most of the guys are just really in love with their birds. The guy who in the film has the frozen bird
Yeah.
and just can't let go of it and wants to mount it by grandma.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the kind of stuff that I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
So when you all were preparing for the World Cup quarterfinals and all that stuff, I was like, oh, where are they going to go to? Are they going to London? Or I thought that you would travel.
London right here. Here's London.
I know it's London right here, right? So what I learned, this guy who's afraid of pigeons, was that I guess the lawn shows, the birds basically fly near your home. You don't take them out anywhere else, or do they go other places?
The lawn show and flying, they separate. A lawn show is like a pageant. Prettiest birds. That's what a lawn show is. It's really a pageant.
Okay.
And the fly is actual flying. So it's a lawn show. Everybody's in the same place. Everybody bring their best, the top birds, and we display them to be judged. It's like a beauty contest.
Got it. So like when we saw the footage of the auction, that's a lawn show. Yeah,
that's a lawn show.
Okay, got it. And then that's when sometimes there's an auction at the lawn shows, or
it's almost an auction. It's an auction almost every lawn show.
Yes.
They auction off birds, then they show birds, and they auction off birds and stuff like that. Raffles.
Got it.
Different categories of the birds.
And then the flies, though, they always fly from their own backyard.
Yeah, own backyard.
Unless the World Cup too, because I mean, Keith can talk a little bit about that, but the birds are home to their backyard, and they can't, like, even if a huge gust of wind comes and blows them away, sometimes they get lost. I mean, they really need to fly right from their backyard.
Got it. And Chu, why is it called a kit? Can you talk about that? Each of the coops, each group is called a kit. Is that how that works?
Yes. In competition, the lowest amount of birds you can fly is 15. The most you can fly is 20.
Okay.
And they have to fly for 20 minutes, and the birds have to break together for you to get scored.
Right. 5
or more birds have to roll at the same time.
Got it.
For you to get scored.
It looks like the judges come to you, and as it gets more into the final competition, is it
then they send
judges? Another judge, right?
Yes.
How many judges look at each fly?
Well, usually for a regular club fly, usually they pick a judge and he'll come. But when you do like the World Cup or the fall fly, the first round is usually a local judge. If you make it to the second round, then a judge that's probably been to all around the world, he will come and he'll judge the birds.
Yeah, but the thing is, the same judge does not judge the regional. He only judges the finals.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might have Bakersfield, Los Angeles, Riverside, Santa Monica. Each area has their own judge.
Okay.
Like that. So it's like you call them area directors. They got to get a judge for each individual area. Then whoever qualifies from each area goes to the finals, or the top 2 or 3, depending on how many people they have total flying. So it's like for the World Cup, for every 15 people, it's one qualifier.
Got it.
So like that.
Understood. Of course, I was fascinated after this movie and began to Google your sport, and seeing that it's like just an international sport was like eye-opening for me. But before I talk about the international, what makes it so popular in Southern California? And do you know about the origins, or like how old are your clubs? Like, are there clubs that have been going for like a really, really long time? Is this a 70s and 80s thing? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
The clubs?
Yeah.
Well, the sport been around for a while, like since 71 or 2. That's the actual competition part.
Mm-hmm.
Actual competition here in California. But the oldest club right now, I think we were the oldest club. No, CPRC was the oldest club. No, us then CPRC, but we don't even have that club no more. So our club started in '85.
Wow.
CPRC was. They started in '82. So, and neither one of them clubs is really active right now. Well, no club's really active. Maybe a few new ones, like the newer guys, are pretty much carrying on right now. They still flying through all the stuff that's going on. But other than that, what happened was Bill Pinson came here, where they say he was sponsored to come here to for some dude hadn't worked with him. He wanted him to teach him about his birds. So they paid for him to come to the United States, gave him a job as their loft manager, and he went from there. So he brought his birds, and that's how the Burma Roy got to the United States.
Okay.
And that was in the late 30s?
30s.
Yeah, in the 30s. So that's how, that's a long time. And it's passed down. That's, part of what I love about it, and just hearing Keith in the film too talk about how you got into birds, and that it's your uncle that introduced you to the birds, and that it's just passed down through the generations. And I think there's something so lovely about that.
I love the rite of passage. Chu, when you were talking to that little boy in the film and his dad, and he asked how many he had in his kit, and he had to get out his iPhone to figure.
Yeah, that's my little nephew.
That's your nephew, okay?
Yeah, that's my nephew. Yeah, but you know what? I used to always tell him come by. He's like, man, I love the birds. He's like, man, I'll be seeing them on the internet, man. I love the birds. Like, man, just come by, man. I'm gonna give you some birds, man.
That's all right.
Keep him in the yard, man. That's where you keep him safe, you know.
And
you know where he at. If he got them birds, you know where he at. He in that backyard with the birds.
And I read about that in your bios, talking about how the birds kept you focused and gave you an outlet. And Keith, I loved how you cut the holes in the 99-cent bag and gave it to the little boy in your backyard. So it was just this beautiful rite of passage.
It's a beautiful hobby. Once you get that bird bud, it's in you, boy. It's like gold fever. You're gonna chase it.
It's a legitimate. I see it's a legitimate passion. Milena, I love that scene where all the fellows are at a lawn show or a fly, and they're like, it's like nothing else matters. You know, like wives, girlfriends, life, everything takes a second place to the sport. It was just a great moment of candor.
When you mean the like 5-shot, the interview shot where the guy in the center, Sam Smitty is his name, says,
Smitty.
When you meet a girl, you let her know that the birds were here before her and they'll be here after she's gone.
Right.
Yeah. I always love that too, because for me, it just shows how passionate they are about these birds. I mean, that the birds take like the number one position is like, there's just something really beautiful about that to me. People have told me that they thought that was a little sexist before, some people, and I feel very differently about it. So
I applaud you for keeping it in, because I think it's authentic truth.
But look, think about it. Like in my situation, I had my birds, I was gone, got married, she's gone. Guess what?
You still got your bird.
He wasn't being sexist. That's just how it happens. Except for the guys that they're going through problems with their girls, they get rid of their birds because they're miserable. And I refuse to be miserable like that for that reason. I
feel you, Keith, on that one. It's you want to be out there. Every day I got to be over there. If I'm not at the barbershop, that's where I'm at. There's only 2 places you're going to be able to find me if you're looking for me.
Right. Well, the beautiful thing about the community and about the story, and you know, Los Angeles is my favorite big city in America. I love Los Angeles. I come alive in Los Angeles, and I think Milena, your cinematography capturing the aerial acrobatics, just this movie is a love letter to LA, and in particular South LA. I'm curious on the sexism part. Are there girls or women in the sport? Keith, I know you've got some daughters. Are they interested? Are they allowed? Is it just not caught on? How do
I
women
mean,
factor in?
there are women. There's one in
Yeah.
where Debbie Lay live? San Bernardino somewhere.
I don't know, but
Pastor.
what about what's her name? Is her name Yolanda? The one that lives out there that had a little son. She flies birds too.
I don't know if she still has them though.
Okay.
Yeah.
In high desert. It's a few women here and there.
Okay.
Like right now, it's a woman that brings birds to shows. Actually, it's
Very few though.
very few though, but
Very
find
few.
them. There are some. There have been some over the years that have been like that. One year, a little girl qualified for the national, 11 years old. I'm not
Wow.
sure she did all the work, but she got the credit.
Yeah. Got it.
And what about your daughters, Keith?
They Paris, when she was younger, like real young, she helped me feed the birds and helped me clean out the breeding little trays for the kit birds. And Nalani was the same way for a long time until they became girls, older girls. When the mall started happening and shopping, no way. Nails, none of that.
You can't take the nails into the kit to clean it out.
Yeah, they'd go look. Yeah, Lonnie should go back there and look. Lonnie, feed the birds from the shed. She'd go pour the feed in there and everything like that. But that's as far as it go.
What about the girl on the internet, Keith, Amy? She be all nailed up, but she
AP,
always got a bird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her, but I just see her on the internet. Her name is called AP Amy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna go find her. I'm fascinated by pigeons now.
Yeah, she loves it.
Is AP Amy in LA?
I'm not sure. AP Amy, I don't know where she is, but Debbie Lay is here in California. I think she's in IE somewhere.
Yeah, but both of them are really popular on the internet, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look them up. For those that are tuning in, IE is Inland Empire in Southern California. I'll be your translator. Milena, the verite style that you embraced for the making of this film, I just really applaud you. The one documentary I've directed in my career, I did that very same thing, and I just have a soft spot for it in my heart. I think mine was a featurette. My experience doing that was like 35 minutes or something like that. But to do an entire feature that way and to spend so many years embedded with these gentlemen and their community, did you ever question if it was going to work? I mean,
I did.
You did.
I mean, not question if it was going to work. I know what direction she was going in.
Okay.
She kept saying, "Come on, Keith, you gotta do this. Try it. Come on, open up." I said,
I love how you started directing her too. I think when she had to go on camera, and you're like, "Act like we're not here. Act like we're not here."
Oh yeah, we had to do that. It felt good to do that. She was doing this like that for years. Hey, but you know what I love about the movie? She really captured us regular.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even my friends seen the movie, like, this is you. 100%. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really love about the movie.
Was that clear to you that you were capturing it like that, Milena, or did you have questions?
Yeah. I mean, the first cut of the film, because I had actually never done a documentary before this one. Everything I had done was scripted. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't even really, the whole like voiceover with B-roll to help explain stuff, that was such a foreign concept to me. I was just trying to like capture scenes, scenes like in a narrative film. That's what I knew. That's where I was coming from. And the first cut of the film, there was like no explanation of anything. People were super confused. There was like no explanation of like even the birds rolling and like the point system. It was all verite, you know, it was just all like a glimpse into the world, which was rather frustrating for the viewer. So for me, it was how little do I need to explain to still have a sort of satisfying or semi-satisfying viewing experience. And so the verite came very naturally. That I knew I wanted to do that. And that is so, for me, you know, so fun. It was such a pleasure and such an amazing journey just to hang out with Keith and Chu and other Birdmen like Jaime, who's in the film quite a bit, and just to hang out. And I would often just go by myself with the camera and, you know, lob them up, do my own sound, and just film. And that was so fun. I would hate to like have to manipulate the situation too much. Although later when we were filming, there were certain things where I was like, Keith, it'd be great if you actually called me up next time when you were doing this. Like, Keith, tell the story about Mike Tyson, because this is something that I was like, oh, I can't believe I wasn't there to film it.
Oh, when he came to the house?
Well, not when he came to the house, but when he bought a pigeon from you.
He called me and said he needed a few more pigeons, right? So I said, okay. So he said, just tell me how many birds you need, tell me how much it is, so I gave him the price, and you know, I got the money to me. So I said, I got the birds ready. He said, well, I'm gonna have somebody come pick them up, right? So I'm thinking somebody's gonna pull up in the truck. So a guy put a limousine put in front of the house, and my auntie said, "So limousine out here? Who's that for? Where you going?" I said, "I'm not going nowhere." Like that. He said, "You expecting somebody?" I said, "No." They came to the knock on the door, "Keith here?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm here for Mike Tyson. Oh, I said, "Well, Mike Tyson out there?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay." He said, "Come pick up the birds." All right. So you can pick the birds, take the mic. No, I'm gonna pick the birds and drive them to Las Vegas. I say, "Wait a minute." So you came in a limousine to pick up some pigeons, to take the pigeons to Las Vegas in a limousine? He said, "Yeah." Okay. I said, well, okay then. I don't even travel like that. He came in a limousine, picked the birds up in a limousine, in a box, from the back seat, drove to Las Vegas.
That's amazing. Pigeon Express. I was surprised that you were able to send them in the mail in that special container.
Oh yeah, well, not right now. We can't do nothing.
Yeah. But
you used to we could send up to some. It's a weight thing. So
got it.
Right through the post office.
It's amazing.
Maybe we'd be there in like 2 days, 3 days tops.
Amazing. What's the Chu and Keith? What's your favorite thing you learned about filmmaking? So you're being watched, but you're also watching this process. What are some of your favorite takeaways from this process of being the stars of a movie?
Oh no, I guess, you know, at work, you know, everybody say I'm funny and I'm just regularly funny, but I just see myself being regular, but I seen it in the movie though. The couple of good scenes, I was like, oh my God.
The which thing?
Different when you see yourself on the camera. It's different.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Different. My thing is the storytelling. I like telling stories anyway, because I actually write.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that caught me. I want to get into that so bad now. Not the documentary side, but just the storytelling.
Right.
Keith is writing a script right now.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is really, I read the first 20 pages. It's going to be really great. I don't know if you want to talk about it at all, Keith.
Which one I seen you?
Which one? All right.
Yeah, he's writing a lot of scripts. Keith, my favorite moment, I actually screen grabbed it. I don't know if I have it here, but it was, you know, everybody got so impatient when it takes 9 years to make a movie and you're making it about a whole group of friends. Like, people can get pretty impatient they want to see the film, / they don't even, some of them still didn't believe I was a filmmaker. They thought it was from the FBI.
Oh,
Still,
Lord.
but one of my favorite moments, and I captured this they're all on Facebook, was somebody who said to you, like, you guys have taken way too long to let this film come out. Like, now I'm not even going to get the film anymore. It's taken so long. And then you said something like, oh, really? You want to try making a film yourself? And Keith went through listed the entire process of making a film on his Facebook. You want to find your subjects and, like, gain their trust. And then you want to try to raise the money to, like, get your camera gear, get a sound person to come along, hire an editor. Then you want to, like, try to get it into, or, like, edit it, try to get into film festival. He just went through the whole process.
Oh.
The guy afterwards just posted, like, my bad.
How long was it before you all got to see any of the footage or anything? Like, how did that go?
Well, when she did the screening, we had seen a little bit, like she'll show us a little in her camera, like she taped the day, show a little bit, but that's about it. Then when we seen it that day, I had brought my partner with me. We were going to Vegas. The whole way to Vegas, he talking about the movie. I was like, you like it? My friend, he hates birds. I always tell me, man, I hate those birds, man. I don't even see why you mess with them. He been telling me this for years. When you see the movie, he said, hey, man, I love the movie. He said she really captured you guys for real. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just there.
Now, was this that first cut you're talking about, Melina, that they saw?
No. This was, so the first thing you guys saw, I edited together a teaser, trailer teaser type thing that I showed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But this was maybe 3 years into making it, honestly, just so you guys would stop saying I was from the FBI. So that, I, like, put it on YouTube and stuff, and you guys watched it, and then people started to, like, because I showed up at lawn shows and stuff, and people just said, like, wouldn't allow me to film. You know, people really thought that I might.
And the thing, to your defense, a lot of guys that kept saying, oh, you could have this person there. I said, look, dude, when she came out with that camera, all these dudes was, like, hiding like they was criminals. Right? Like, they didn't want to be filmed.
Right.
Now that it's filmed and it's actually doing well, now you say, why didn't you film this person? Why didn't you film this person? Them people weren't open. They weren't open.
Yeah, they were scared.
There were a lot of people who were scared.
Well, I understand.
But the final film, then I didn't show them. Then we did a Kickstarter that you guys saw, the Kickstarter trailer.
Yeah.
And then I didn't show them the film until it was color corrected. The score was in there. We had a showing at Photochem.
You went to Choo Choo shop first. Remember, we was all sitting here at your computer, and we was all sitting.
Oh, yeah.
That's because I needed to know.
That's what the song. That was about the score. Remember? Yeah. I wish she could have used that song. She had it set up good for that song. That video was tight.
I did have a very expensive song in the film that I needed to take out.
Oh,
but
no.
You guys, they saw the film. When I did show you guys clips of the film because I needed to also know who to credit. Some people I just honestly, there's so many bird guys in it. Yeah. I wanted to get all the names and make sure that I had all the releases signed for everybody who's in the film. But then you guys watched it when it was done, which I'm so happy. Honestly, so many people throughout the process were telling me, oh, show it and get feedback or, like, see how they feel. And I'm so happy I waited until it was done because the score, first of all, having the final score in there is like, it feels like a real movie, you know, you're like, oh my God. And then we saw it in a movie theater, like a huge screen movie theater. It was just, that was for me. I mean, we've shown it at different film festivals. That screening for me was like the best screening. And it felt like the film was finally finished. Like I could finally let go.
A decade of work. And this is that Photochem, that screening at Photochem.
Yeah. That one and the one in Seattle too. Because Seattle and LA, man, and went to Seattle, walked in that theater and seen all them people. I was like, wait a minute, this must be the Rose Theater. Oh, man. I'm about to call my mom. She gonna have to hear about this.
Was this at the film festival?
Yeah, Seattle, man.
Yeah, it's a great theater. Yeah, my daughter.
It was packed out.
Yeah.
We had to sit in the front.
That's wonderful.
It was amazing screening. And the LA screening was very unique because it was all Bird guys. So, you know, there's guys in the film who have passed away. They all have connections to everybody in the film. So the moments where there was clapping or it was very random. The reactions to the film were just, if you weren't part of the pigeon community, you'd be like, why are people clapping right now?
Well, you created this time capsule, Milena. I mean, nearly a decade, putting your heart, soul, and promise into this film. What's your biggest takeaway as a filmmaker, as I think an honorary member of this community? I think you got your cred now. You're not with Fish and Wildlife investigations or FBI. What's your big takeaway?
What's my biggest takeaway? That's such a good question. I mean, so I took away so much because I've never even made a documentary. So I feel like a huge takeaway is just how to make a documentary. But when I think of, I don't think about the final film. When I think about it, I think about memories I had while filming and amazing moments. And I think maybe that's my biggest takeaway, is that it's not about the final film. I mean, I went crazy in the edit trying to get a story together, but it's about the experiences you have while making it, which, I'm so thankful for those experiences. It really made me like LA. I have to say, I'm from San Francisco, and when you're from San Francisco, you kind of grow up hating LA, and you don't even know why. You're like, I just hate LA. I've never even been to LA, but I hate it. And no, really, everybody just talks so much shit about LA there, and you're like, And when I first came here, I came here for grad school for UCLA. And everybody I was hanging out with were film students or filmmakers. And there's just this layer of removal when I live in a place. The bubble. And when I live in a place I really want to, I lived in New York. I loved New York. I loved San Francisco. I always felt just very distant from LA, and making this film really made me love it. Yeah. People, LA has got so many incredibly diverse communities, but everybody's got a pocket or a wedge or a section. And it's amazing how people have a hard time moving out of, theirs to another. Now, Chu and Keith have been in LA long enough to remember when we had the Thomas Brothers Guide, right? You had a book, Thomas Guide to get around LA. And the joke was, well, I'm only on page 44 and 45. I don't go anywhere else, and everybody had their pages. But for me, one of the great things as a filmmaker, as a, producer and director and doing, music videos and other things, is I got to learn all of the neighborhoods of Los Angeles, going out to, Downey location scouting and being up in the, high desert and Palmdale and throughout all the different neighborhoods. And it really is a really diverse city that has a lot to offer. And, I'm glad you discovered that, because, a lot of times you can either hate it for whatever reason or even be there and not venture out. I know we're getting close to time. I'm having a really good time talking to you all. I only had one question or observation to share. Are there any other observations that you all have, Darren and Keith, about this process? About it looks like, Keith, you're inspired to take on putting your stories down on paper. So congratulations to you. Chu, maybe you're gonna have some open mic nights at the shop coming up.
It's funny. They've been asking me to do something like that too, man. You know what? Really, I'm trying to figure out how I could do something. I want to work with the youth. So I'm going to
Good.
try to figure out what I could do to get involved more with that.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? Help the youth out.
And Keith, you were doing some stuff with youth at the basketball.
At the park, yeah. Yeah, but we can't. Well, since this happened, there's nothing happening at the park right now.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing that since 1993.
Which park is that?
St. Andrews Park. It's in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. Again.
Yeah.
That's since 1993, volunteering. Then I got hired, trying to get full time, but I can never get full time because my background, so I only can work part time. And,
Okay.
and the time you have to in 9 hours a week is like not working.
Right.
But I will still, if they call me and say, we need help, can you come and do this? And I say, all right, I can do it. I'm still in the system. I just,
Gotcha.
so I can't go full time. I don't do it. But you know what, Milena? I'm going to say something real quick. You know what that movie made me do? It made me think of my life. At one time in that film, I was at you got it. I was at one of my lows in life. Not like I wanted to commit suicide, where I was at it. In fact, I was trying to transition from one stage to another. And I was like, man, what I'm going to do? I was right there. That's why that part kind of hit me every time I see it. Like going to the house by myself, I'm talking right there, that part right there.
And that's my last comment, literally. I'm going to look at my notes to get it right. I really applaud you, Milena, as a filmmaker, and you gentlemen and your friends for being so open and transparent, because there are no easy victories in this movie, and there are definite losses in life, losses, as someone who was married myself for 24 years and got divorced. I'm still friends with my ex-wife, and we share our kids. I mean, I really felt like I was seeing many of my life stages and experiences in your story. But the beautiful thing is, at the end, I didn't feel sad. And I love that moment of that aha moment. It was like your origin story, Keith, when you said it out loud, you're a professional pigeon man, professional bird man. I mean, it was just so lovely and so beautiful to see that. So it's not really a question, it's just a statement. I really could identify with you all. I don't think I'll be picking up any pigeons, but I have a greater love and affinity for what you do. And I just applaud you all for opening up your lives to Milena and her crew, and everything from the score to the cinematography to the editing. It was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So thank you for this Q&A today. Any exit thoughts or comments?
I love what you just said. Thank you so much. I love that you connected with the film.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about no easy victories. I haven't heard that before. And I think that's so true about life, unless you're super lucky and have things handed to you, that there really aren't any easy victories.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
And I think The Crown is your movie. I mean, the fact that all of this was captured in a feature film that we can see on, big screens and small screens is the victory. I mean, bravo. You all did just amazing work, and I'm so glad you found each other. I guess my last question is, especially now that we're all in sort of these work at home, shelter in place situations, when was the last time you all saw each other in person? Do you remember? How long has it been?
Magic Johnson Theater.
Last festival.
Yeah.
No, not me and you though. We went to some other stuff. We went to
But with Milena, it was at Magic Johnson for Pan African Film Festival?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it this year's 2020?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
In February, end of February, beginning of February, middle end of February.
Yeah.
When was that?
I know.
Yeah.
Where all the walls are closing in on us.
We did Zoom though last week for like a little test, a Zoom test, which felt
wonderful.
like Zoom is, kind of feels like you're hanging out with people and seeing them.
I know. I'm getting used to it. Well, this is the team that brought us Pigeon Kings. This is a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's now streaming. It's going into its life of distribution. Support this movie. Get onto the social media. share it and get it out around the world to your friends so that they can see this wonderful story and help support independent film. Ashland Independent Film Festival, one of the best festivals in America. I wish we were all in Ashland together. Have you ever been to Ashland? Any of you? Have you ever been?
No.
It is.
I would have came. You know, I would have came.
It is. You would love it. It is one of the most. It's one of my favorite film festivals in the world. It's a beautiful setting in the mountains of Southern Oregon, like just across the border from Northern California. So, all right, that's our cue to shut up. I think we need to stop the recording. Chloe, thank you for helping us in the background. Big love and hello to Richard Herskowitz and all the team in Ashland. And hats off to you for figuring out how to do a virtual film festival and a virtual Q&A. We'll see you in Ashland really, really soon. Bye.